Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside my co-host, Jake Fromm. Be sure to follow us on social media at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Drew Butler. He is at From Jake. Head on over to puntandpass.com, the number one destination for all things college football. Jake, week 0 is behind us. Week 1 is on deck. I am fired up. How are you, my man?
Man, let's go. Excited. Got a little taste, a little appetizer this past weekend.
Yep.
A few good games, a few blowouts, but man, excited going into week 1. Gonna have some good games. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to touch on week 0, do a quick little recap, then, of course, get into some news and notes and prime everybody for week 1. We will have our first week 1 episode coming out on Thursday, so be on the lookout for that. But before we get to that, this episode of Punt and Pass is presented by RecTech. RecTech wood pellet grills and smokers are the highest quality grills on the market and exactly what you and your family need to get ready for football season and all of your tailgating adventures. Be the envy of any tailgate or home gate this football season with an ultimate tailgate or home gate bundle, which are available now on sale at rectech.com. That's RECTEQ.com. Jake, I got my RecTech this past weekend, dude, that RT1250. Fired that thing up. Watched the assembly videos on YouTube. Threw some chicken thighs on there Saturday night. These things are so damn good. I mean, it is the most badass smoker on the market. Be sure to follow them on social media at RecTech_official. Follow my man, Jody Flanagan, as well, at BBQ Dad Jody. And RecTech's going to have a live activation in Atlanta this weekend. If you're heading out to the Georgia-Oregon game, just past Centennial Olympic Park on the way to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you will be able to smell them. There'll be some former dogs out there hanging with Chef Jody, Chef John, the whole RecTech team. Go see them. And if you haven't signed up for the RecTech giveaway yet, you have to do that. Head on over to our social media, puntandpass.com. Wherever you can find us, you will be able to find the Google form and sign up. We have had a ton of people sign up. Included in the giveaway is that RT1250 RecTech wood pellet smoker that I used this past weekend, a grill cover, a 20-quart RecTech icer cooler, 80 pounds of RecTech Ultimate Blend wood pellets, and a rub and sauce bundle. Shout out to RecTech. Man, these guys are the absolute best. All right, Jake, team meeting. Quick thoughts. Week 0, not too much action, but football was on TV. Nebraska Northwestern was on at 12:30 over in Dublin. Anything catch your eye specifically? One thing caught my eye. I'll tell it to you in a second. But tell me what caught your eye. I mean, team meeting. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, no. So I went back and watched the complete game on tape. Nebraska, in my opinion, should have won pretty handedly. The two philosophies going in, Nebraska on offense was like, hey, we're going to take some shots.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do about it. We're going to hit them. And Northwestern, they kind of used some eye candy, lots of shifts, a lot of motions, didn't really
Good
do anything.
coaching.
Yeah, no, like they didn't do anything, super crazy. They had their one shot, they hit it for a touchdown. But it was simple plays, just kind of disguised up with some eye candy, try to make them look pretty, and they just executed. Nebraska, they took their shots, but they could not situationally run the football, and they had turnovers, and that was their downfall.
It's just absolutely killer. Scott Frost on a hot seat heading into the game. Now his seat is in fuego, and we have to bring up the onside kick up 11 in the third quarter. I can only think of one other special teams call that is as head scratching that's happened in the last 5 years of college football. And I
know
think
which one you're talking about.
where I'm going
Yeah,
with that one. A certain fake punt tied at 28, 3 minutes left in the game.
Yep.
Midfield didn't really make too much sense. But when that onside kick happened, you're like, oh my God, what in the hell are they thinking? What are they doing? All the momentum was on Nebraska's side. Casey Thompson was playing really well. They were getting chunk plays. And then Northwestern steals the momentum. And then Nebraska starts turning the ball over. And then Nebraska can't convert on third down. It's like an ultimate killer type situation. Now they're 0-1 in the statistic that I saw. I don't have the exact numbers, but the amount of one-score games that Nebraska has lost under the helm of Scott Frost, I think it's the worst ever in college football history, like in a 5-year span. They've lost like 80% of the games that they've played when they're a one-score game. So that does not look good on the coaching, on the execution.
Nope.
On the situational football. But you know what? Like I've always said this is our 6th season of Punt and Pass. Win third down, win the turnover battle, run the football. You're going to win football games. Like, as stupid and as cliche as that sounds, that is oftentimes what it comes down to. And we'll be able to see that this weekend because we got some big games that, of course, we'll touch on in Thursday's episode. But we will tee it up here on this quick episode of Punt and Pass. One more thing that I just have to touch on in the team meeting.
Talk to me.
Possibly the coolest thing that's ever happened at a college football game happened in that Northwestern Nebraska game. Do you know what that was?
Yeah, I do.
The free beer and concessions.
Yeah, the snake. Yeah.
The beer snake. Okay, so what happened is that Aviva Stadium in Dublin is cashless, just like Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, where Georgia and Oregon are going to play this weekend. Well, the internet for the credit card machines were out in the entire stadium. So they could not accept payment. So they were literally giving out beer and concessions to anybody. They said the lines were crazy. They started saying you can only take 4 at a time. People were getting 4 beers, turning around to their friend, handing them back in line, and then getting 4 more beers. I mean, that sounds like heaven on earth. Free beer in Dublin, Ireland. Big Ten football on. I mean, forget about it. Welcome to college football 2022.
Great atmosphere. It was a good game. It was back and forth. Had a little comeback. I mean, I think kind of everything about it. It's kind of, in my opinion, the biggest game of week 0 in Ireland.
Yeah.
Had the beer snake. I mean, come on. I don't know. I think that was just awesome.
I love it, dude.
Way to open it up.
Way to open it up. If that's any sign as to how this 2022 season is going to be, we're in for a doozy. Everybody could use some free beer with some college football. All right, let's head to first down. We'll go 3 and out. First down. Let's touch on a little bit more of these week 0 results. Got to start with the Nebraska Northwestern game, which we just talked about. It was the most highly touted. It was on a neutral site. It was out of the country. And you just said it, man. Like, from an execution and scheme perspective, Northwestern just did what they needed to do. And when they were given the opportunity to pounce on the mistakes that Nebraska was making, they took advantage of them. And oftentimes, especially in conference football games, even more so later on in the season, that's what it takes to get a win. And there are no pictures on a scorecard, as you say in golf. Look, you look back at the season, Nebraska will have lost to Northwestern in week 1 or week 0.
Yeah, no doubt. They didn't do anything fancy. Well coached, well executed. And I mean, they won because they did the little things right,
In this social media day and age that we live in. Now, clearly there are reasons as to why Scott Frost is on the hot seat. Is it fair to say, after one game in 2022, like, he's done, get rid of him, this season's lost? Like, what do you say as a former quarterback? Think about what Casey Thompson's thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Transfer from Texas, played pretty well, 2 picks late in the game. They lose. Now everybody's saying, fire the coach.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's tough. You don't – I hate it, because social media and everything and the media, it's just so tough, nowadays. But – I mean, look, give it a chance. As long as there's buy-in in the locker room, I think they'll be okay. I don't think they're going to go on a hot streak and win, 11 straight games from here. But, I mean, at least have a good year, for Casey. Hey, man, let's put up some good numbers. Let's win some football games and just give our guys a chance kind of going in.
No doubt.
Down the stretch,
No doubt. I think I like it a lot. Like, what's happening at Nebraska? They just can't get over that hump. Keep in mind, they fired Bo Pelini. They got sick of Frank Solich. They were winning 9-10 games a year. That wasn't good enough for the fan base. It wasn't good enough for the alumni. They go and get the favorite son, Scott Frost, who was the quarterback at Nebraska in the 90s when they were much better. And it just hasn't worked out to this point. It's tough to watch. Now, think about this. If you're a Georgia fan, which the majority of our listeners are, this could have easily been the same situation that Kirby Smart was put in, right? You bring back Kirby Smart, former safety, lots of success, lots of ties to Athens. And if it didn't work out, you're in the same spot or worse than where you were before. I think that's a huge testament to what Kirby Smart has done, to how good of a coach he is, to how good of a recruiter he is, to what he's built in Athens. But on the flip side, it could have just as easily happened the other way, which is what's happening at Nebraska right now with Scott Frost. So I don't think the season's over. A lot of people were expecting Nebraska to win 9-10 games this year. The Big Ten, especially in their division, is relatively there for the taking. Can they bounce back? It's going to be really tough to kind of dig deep. Is there buy-in in the locker room? We've been talking about Hard Knocks a lot these first couple of episodes. I thought Dan Campbell did something that was pretty unique on last week's episode. The Lions really fumbled the game away against the Falcons in the first preseason game. And he was talking about just the culture in Detroit. And guys, we've got to get over the hump. And he had this like dirty pair of jeans. I don't know if you saw this, Jake.
No.
He like dusted it off and looked like he put a bunch of baby powder on the jeans. So he was like dusting it off. And obviously baby powder was everywhere in the air. And he said, we just got to get that last suck off of us, meaning like those last little things that make you not win games, you've got to get past it. And I think that's kind of where Nebraska is, relatively speaking, after a week 0 loss. But like, they've got the talent. They've obviously got the capability if they just don't turn the ball over or convert on third down. So we'll see. I'll just be interested. I would have to believe Scott Frost is on every gambling board the first coach to be fired in 2022, but who knows? Vanderbilt smacks Hawaii 63-10.
Good for them. You know,
yes, good for them. But let me just say one thing first.
Go ahead.
Shout out to you for last week giving us that statistic about Northwestern. You were like, hold on a second. I've dug deep a little bit. And in even number years, Northwestern plays well. In odd number years, they do not. I'm going with Northwestern because it's 2022. So shout out to you. That's a great statistic that you
I didn't want to bring it up, but I appreciate you bringing it up on my behalf. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's talk about Vandy. They beat Hawaii 63-10. I thought Hawaii would cover. I thought this game would be close. Dude, this line went from like 6.5 all the way up to 10.5 before kickoff. I don't know if that talks about how bad Hawaii is, or maybe Vanderbilt's a little bit better than we expected.
Yeah, that's definitely the story. Is Hawaii that bad, or is Vandy that good? You know, we don't
Chang,
know. I mean, gosh, we don't know. But hey, just kudos, shout out to Vandy. You know, good for them. You know, maybe they can have a decent year this year. I mean, just kind of feel bad for them over there. You know, just kind of get beat on in the SEC week to week, and I mean, gosh, to me in my head, it's like, hey, you're at Vanderbilt, you're in Nashville. You know, why can you not put a culture together and just, put together a good program, so, maybe they're on the right track. Who knows?
All right. I agree with you. Pick 6, 35 points in the third quarter.
Yep.
Good vibes. It must have been
Mike Wright had like 163 rushing yards.
Yeah. I mean, he made that one run. It was like, looked like Michael Vick out there. I was like, what is going on? Maybe Hawaii literally is that bad, but good on Mike Wright. I bet you that was a fun team plane ride back to the States. Well, I mean, I know you're in the States in Hawaii, but that's a fun one heading back out east. So shout out to them. Clark Lee, the guy who said Vanderbilt will be one of the best programs in the country this year at SEC Media Days. Hey, you're 1-0. Not many other people can say that. So we'll keep watching them in the SEC. Anything else noteworthy in week 0? I'm so ready for week 1. You know what was noteworthy? And this is going to take us to second down. Did you watch College Game Day at all? Second down is ESPN College Game Day, week 0. Did you watch it at all? There's a lot to unpack here. So
I came in and out. I didn't sit down, with a cup of coffee and watch it, 4 hours straight, but kind of in and out. Talk to me. I mean, what do you want to talk about? I mean, there's a lot of things to go.
We'll start with Desmond Howard's picks of the college football playoff. Now, of course, week 0, everybody on the show has to give their Final Four, their college football playoff picks. Desmond Howard, look, he's caught a lot of flack for me on Punt and Pass, rightfully so. Some of the stuff he says is mind-boggling, but this might take the cake. Put your seatbelt on. Get ready for what Desmond Howard picked to be his college football playoff Final Four. Texas A&M, Pittsburgh, not the Steelers, University of Pittsburgh, Baylor, and Michigan. Okay. Texas A&M, Pittsburgh, Baylor, and Michigan are Desmond Howard's college football playoff teams. He has Texas A&M beating Michigan in the college football playoff national championship game. Now, look, I get it. ESPN probably says, guys, everybody can't have the same picks. Got to think outside the box a little bit. Please don't give us something that's not original or maybe copycat when you're going down the table. This is malpractice, okay? This is awful because there's no chance. I mean, maybe there's 2 that could possibly make it, honestly. Texas A&M and Michigan. No chance Baylor makes it to the college football playoff. Damn sure no chance Pittsburgh makes it to the college football playoff. But Desmond Howard, you lose credibility when you say stuff like this.
I mean, you're either ill-informed, in my opinion, or you're just trying to get clicks. And then both of those scenarios, are not good when you're on one of the biggest stages in media for college football on College Game Day. So I mean, come on. I just think, just simple, hey, let's just do better,
Do better. Like, it's okay. Again, you don't have to do this like hot takeism and say all this crazy stuff so that you get a bunch of clicks or people absolutely trash you on social media, which of course is what happened.
Or do 2 locks.
Yes.
And then, 2, wild cards, but
100%.
4 wild cards.
I totally agree.
Not 1 lock, 3 wild cards, 3 locks. I mean, this is 4 wild cards in this deal.
There are articles written about how bad the picks were. They're like, what is he doing? Is this a joke? Are they going to come on next week and be like, hey, it was funny. I'm glad everybody got the reaction out of it. It's that egregious. It's horrible. I just don't get it. But you know what? Unfortunately, it's kind of par for the course for Desmond Howard and the stuff that he says on college.
Be better next week. Hey, hey guys, just want to apologize for my picks. I
heard the boys on Punt Pass were really giving me a hard time. I need to let them know that was not intentional. I mean, seriously, that was awful. Desmond Howard, be better. To that same point, David Pollack, who of course is on College Game Day, didn't pick Georgia to be in the college football playoff. Are we surprised at this point? I feel like Pollack, who you and I know really well, like this is his, I don't want to call it a shtick, but that's just what he does. He's like, not going to pick Georgia. Prove it to me. Now, I think anybody to his point could simply say, Georgia's got to prove it to me this year. They lost a ton on defense. It's going to be tough sledding in the SEC, however they want to say it. I don't think people should be as obligated to put Georgia in the college football playoff, maybe as they could have been last year. But for a guy like Pollack, it's like he doesn't even give it consideration. And then, of course, he has to deal with the backlash.
Yeah. He's going to deal with it, but Pollack, I love Pollack. Now, you don't have to like it, but you have to be able to respect it because you have to be able to respect someone in the media who's not just going to lie through his teeth because, somebody wants to hear it.
But I guess that's my question. Is he almost lying through his teeth the other way? Like lying through his teeth not to put Georgia in the playoff? I think that's where this is going.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think people are going to argue that, but in my opinion, it's kind of like, in a way, he's kind of like the big brother who's just trying to egg on the little brother, to kind of like do better. It's like, hey, I'm just trying to give you a little motivation,
Yeah.
But you don't have to like it, but I can at least respect it, even though I don't like it. I love my boys, but you got to be able to respect someone in the media who's not going to lie to you and just tell you how he thinks it is.
Yeah. I mean, look, you could sit here right now and go, look, Georgia might lose to Alabama in the college football playoff. If they slip up one game during the season, they probably don't get in. But if they do lose to Bama as an undefeated team and get into the college football playoff and then have to play somebody like Ohio State, that's just tough. Maybe they don't make it to the college football playoff. Maybe they don't make it to the SEC championship game. However you wanted to look at it. Again, I just think the track record there shows me that it's like not going to happen. He's not going to present the opportunity. So whatever, DP, holler at us, man. You've been on Punt Pass in the past. We'll get him on in the future just to, hash some of these things out because I think he might be lying through his teeth the other way. Meaning I'm not putting Georgia in regardless of what I might really think.
We'll have to get him on. Plead his case.
Who knows?
Before the jury.
And then the last thing that we have to talk about, Lee Corso on College Game Day. Jake, he's 87 years old. He's 87 years old. Last week, College Game Day was remote. Some guys were in studios, some were in their homes. Desmond Howard was in his office. I think Pollack was on location in Atlanta somewhere, I want to say. And then Corso was in his backyard. And they had like a bounce house behind him and some fans and some mascots. Well, he was all on his own. And Jake, dude, it was hard to watch. I mean, look, what do we do?
Man, I hate it. Like it's
I
feel bad, kind of cringe a little bit. I mean, because I love him.
A little bit.
I mean, he's an icon. I grew up watching it. You did, hey man, it's Lee Corso. He's gonna make some picks. But I mean, it's so bad. It's also, hey, kudos to Kirk Herbstreit for just
babysitting.
I mean, he's doing an incredible job, doing the best he can to, basically kind of get through it. And it's tough. I hate it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
It is what it is, dude. When he was, when he was by himself and he's trying to read his sheet of paper when they're teeing him up as to like, hey coach, what do you like? And obviously he's got the answer right there in front of him and like, he can't get there, man, you feel bad for the guy. You're like, what are we doing? what does the ESPN production, meeting look like at the beginning of this season when you're like, okay, we know we have a legend. He's 87 years old. The past 5 years, really, it's kind of been hard to watch. Harris English, PGA Tour player, was the guest picker, Georgia, Arkansas last year after he was on the winning Ryder Cup team. He was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he said, like, the only piece of advice that he got before going on live was, when you talk to Corso, scream at him so he can hear you and like enunciate so he can kind of read your lips as well. He's like, that's just what I had to do. But that is where it's at. Look, figure out a way, but give the guy a break. It's like it's almost senior abuse at that point.
Right. Yeah.
And unfortunately for us, look, we don't make political statements on this podcast, but it's like when Biden's up there sometimes, you're looking at it going, what's going on? It's just, look, they're old guys. My grandpa's old. I love him. Gosh. He doesn't need to be on TV every day. Sometimes my dad's like that. And hell, he's only 60. So I'm just saying, Jake, we got to figure something out for Corso, man. Get him off the TV.
Oh man, it cracks me up. I was thinking the same thing there with you on that one. Bring it in that comparison.
Yeah, but, it's just the comparison that's out there. What I mean? Like, we don't have any other comparisons in that regard. So
it's too easy. I wish they would have.
God bless Lee Corso, though.
Send him out. On a high note. But yeah, hopefully he just hey, let's don't linger too long. Let's remember the good. And not the bad.
It's so true. Like, send him, like, this year, make it a retirement tour like some of these top athletes do, and just let him do the mascot head 14 weeks in a row. And then we'll all celebrate Lee Corso riding off into the sunset. But dang, no doubt. He was out there. People were grilling behind him. It was like a tailgate scene. And that makes me think of our awesome presenting sponsor of the Punt and Pass podcast. Of course, RecTech. Follow RecTech on social media at RecTech_official. Head on over to rectech.com. That's RECTEQ.com. They've got the ultimate tailgate, ultimate home gate bundles on sale right now. Win every weekend this football season with a RecTech at home. If you're heading to the Chick-fil-A Classic kickoff games this weekend, they will be outside Centennial Olympic Park with live activations, giving away free swag, grill and chill with the RecTech team before the Georgia-Oregon game, before the Clemson-Georgia Tech game. And of course, be sure to sign up for our amazing giveaway. We're giving away a RecTech 1250, RT 1250, a grill cover, a 20-quart icer cooler, 80 pounds of Ultimate Blend wood pellets, and of course, the rub and sauce bundle, rectech.com. Shout out to RecTech. All right, third down, and then we'll try to get out of here. Starting QBs are being announced, especially across the SEC. You and I talked about this on the first show. TJ Finley gets named the starter at Auburn. You were kind of expecting this. Of course, Zach Calzada had transferred from Texas A&M. Good decision for Auburn. I think you thought this one was going to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the easy decision. Okay. I mean, he was the guy. He was there. He knows what's going on. He has just really good rapport kind of with the locker room, knows the guys. So I mean, I think he kind of couldn't go wrong. I think it was his to lose. And I just don't think Zach Calzada, kind of showed enough. Honestly, I mean, he was a starter in the SEC, beat Alabama.
I know.
A lot of expectations, and I don't think he really delivered on anything.
Okay, so to that point, do you think TJ Finley remains the starter through week 6? Do you think Calzada starts getting some play if they're winning games by a large margin? Like, do you think there will be a quarterback controversy in Auburn within the first 6 weeks of the season?
This is, this is nothing from my brother. I don't have the secret intel. This is just me making up my own, thoughts here. But I do think they will kind of play around with the guys a little bit. I mean, they did last year with Bo Nix.
Yeah.
If they did last year with Bo, I mean, they're dang sure going to mess around, and kind of play, the game with those guys.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
They're definitely going to try to figure it out for sure.
Another newsmaker, Haynes King at Texas A&M, beats out Max Johnson. That was surprising to me as well, but I think Jimbo is leaning on some of the athleticism there, which Max can't really get outside the pocket. But Haynes King was the starter for the first 3 or 4 weeks for A&M last year until he got hurt, so he's back in the fold for the Aggies.
It's kind of a theme I'm just noticing, kind of in football, that if it's even or even the pocket passer maybe slightly better, I think they're kind of leaning for the more athleticism, honestly, for coaches just to, bail them out of tough situations. Going back to the Nebraska game, Casey Thompson made a crazy play on a third down where he scrambled, did a spin circle like Bo Nix's play from last year.
Yeah.
Threw it. So just kind of, it just gets him out of plays, like Stetson last year. Something goes down, he can extend it and make a play. So I think coaches are kind of leaning on some athleticism and even kind of promoting it a little bit to, hey, let's go play some backyard ball and get me out of some tough situations and some, frankly, bad play calls.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like that will probably be the case at LSU as well. It's being expected that Jaden Daniels is going to be announced the starter. That has not happened officially yet. He most likely will beat out Garrett Nussmeier. Again, leaning on athleticism. Jaden Daniels had a great freshman campaign for Arizona State, transferred to LSU. Brian Kelly, big game. We'll touch on that on Thursday's episode against Florida State down in NOLA on Sunday night. But probably the most head-scratching announcement of starting quarterbacks is, what the hell is Michigan thinking? Coach Harbaugh comes out and goes, okay, we've named a starter. We have a starter for week 1. Then we have a different starter for week 2. And then we will announce who's going to carry on throughout the 22 campaign for our team. McNamara starts against Colorado State in week 1, and then McCarthy starts against Hawaii in week 2. I guess Michigan probably knows they're going to win both games, put these guys into some live situations, and then evaluate after that. But I have never seen this type of approach before, Jake.
Yeah,
what the hell is a quarterback thinking? It's crazy.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. As a quarterback, I don't really like it. I've been a part of hey, you get the first drive, you get the second drive, and then we'll kind of go from there. Been a part of that. I don't know, the first game and the second game. I don't know. However, playing devil's advocate here, I do like how they're being, he's being upfront and honest with me. It's like I know what to expect. Not just playing the games and, hey, you go in for a couple plays, don't really like that. But I still don't think that's the best way to go about it, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. Again, first 2 weeks of the season, most likely barring extreme outcomes, they're going to win these football games. So I like McNamara. I thought what he did for Michigan a year ago was really good. Like, I'm confused as to why this is even really a competition. Maybe it's to save them from a transfer portal situation. Maybe it's to kind of keep some guys on the hook. But I would expect McNamara to play well against Colorado State and then continue on after week 2. So interesting by Jim Harbaugh.
That's interesting. You noted the transfer portal thing. Hey, they're going to have to play the game with, if you have a good quarterback room, you're going to have to play the game longer, to keep and retain guys, which is, bizarre to me. The recruiting aspect of college football never goes away now.
Yeah.
Once they sign, previous times, once they sign their name, they're done. You got them locked. Hardly ever do they transfer. And now, you got to play the game.
Look, you're a country boy. What would you say? Like, keep some corn in the deer feeder, or, put a little extra worm on the hook or something. I don't know. Keep them around, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. So we'll see how quickly some of these starting quarterback announcements turn into quarterback controversies at each specific school, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. There is no doubt about it. All right, that's 3 and out. First down was week 0 results. Second down, ESPN College Game Day. Whoa. And then third down. Starting quarterbacks being announced week 1 right around the corner. All right, let's go inside the 5. Thursday's episode, we'll have 5 picks against the spread for you, and I've already got the games lined out. You can probably think about them, top 25, top 5, top 15 matchups. We're fired up, but this week, let's just kind of go around the globe a little bit. Right here in Atlanta, Georgia, the Tour Championship, Rory McIlroy single-handedly saving the PGA Tour's ass. It's been remarkable. What this guy has done from the perspective of being outspoken in the media, challenging live golf, talking smack to Greg Norman, winning huge golf tournaments, and then coming from behind, chasing down Scotty Scheffler on Sunday to win the Tour Championship, to become the only 3-time FedEx Cup champion in the history of the FedEx Cup, and then pocketing a cool 18 milli. Dude, what a stud. This guy, really phenomenal stuff. Shout out to Rory McIlroy.
Absolutely. Look, I watched like the first 6 or 7 holes on Sunday and then finished with the last 5 or 6 holes. I didn't think he had a chance. I knew Scotty wasn't playing well, but just what he was able to do, man, come back and win that thing. The difference between first place and second place in that FedEx
12.75 or something like that.
Yeah. It was 18 million for number 1, 6.5 for number 2. That was a big payday. And then, like you said, what he's doing for the PGA Tour, just being outspoken, really trying to just hold that nucleus together. wow. He's got a lot on his plate, and he's delivering at the biggest possible time, I think, in
Huge.
golf for him. And it's for him too.
So, did you ever watch that Netflix series, the F1 Drive to Survive series about all the racers? It's become super popular F1 now in the
well,
so have you watched that?
Yeah, so I've actually started the first season, and I got to catch up. I got a long way to go, but I mean, I'm intrigued by it. It's
So,
really neat.
you know, the production crew that did the F1 series
Uh-huh.
has been doing a docu-series on the PGA Tour for the last
I think I've heard
10
that.
months. So think about all of the infiltration of Live Golf, the ups and downs of guys making the announcements, Rory being outspoken, Tiger getting back into the fold. Like, I hope that they have had some of these calls recorded. I hope that these guys have been super candid with everything that's going on, because the timing of that, there may not have been a better timing for a documentary related to sports since when you were on QB1.
Dude, that I like that.
Big
Thanks.
time.
But no, that's going to be
sick.
That's going to be awesome. I mean, that gets me even more excited, than watching like the last season of Game of Thrones stuff. I mean, I can't wait to watch that. I mean, this has been a huge year for golf. I love it. I go full out watching the Masters. Absolutely love watching the Masters, and just kind of stay in tune with it. Hate that Rory lost the British Open.
I know, dude, man, I was rooting for him hard.
Yeah, that would have been even would have picked up his year even more than he's already had. But what a year he's had, though.
Absolutely. Last thing, we've been touching on this a lot, the whole Tom Brady thing. He just got back to training camp, gone for 11 days, rumors about Masked Singer, family vacation, Giselle, blah, blah, blah. And he faced the music, and I got to give him credit. I'm not going to give Tom Brady a lot of sympathy because he's got everything in the world and more. But I thought his answer was really relatable. They're like, where you been? Why haven't you been with the team? Now, granted, that is a very valid question. I've never heard in the history of football anybody just leaving for 11 days, especially as a starting quarterback. But he goes, look, man, personal reasons. And he goes, guys, I'm 45 years old. There's a lot of shit going on. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm 33 and I can relate to that. Now, if I told a coach I have personal stuff going on, I need to leave and go be with my family for 11 days during training camp, they would say, awesome, you can stay forever because you're cut. Tom Brady gets the luxury of doing whatever the hell he wants. And I thought that answer, Jake, you said it last week. As a quarterback in that room, you're like, hey, dude, hope everything's okay. We'll see you whenever you want to come back.
Yep. It's raw. It's real. And as a fan, as a teammate, as a coach, you can respect it because, he's raw, he's real.
Yeah.
And hey, it is what it is. But I don't think anyone else but him could do anything like that or remotely close to that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take long for him to get back into the swing of things at all. He's done it all. He's seen every coverage they can throw at him. He's seen it, against 8 different scenarios. He knows how it's going to be done. So not really expecting him to have any change of play, but I am worried, however, on the offensive line. They've had a few guys go down.
Yeah.
Ryan Jensen, their starter.
They're trying to break in some new receivers too. So
yeah.
We'll see.
I don't think the road's going to be as easy for them this year. It might test. It might test his age, and just see how much he wants to put into it. But I think when he's in, he's in 110%. So
no doubt. Yeah, done it all, seen it all. You know what he hasn't seen though? This hat. You like that hat?
I do love that hat. That's the first thing I noticed.
This is from Haver Supply. So shout out to Brad from Haver Supply hooking us up. He's a damn good dog. I like this hat though. So
I like it.
Out Haver
Big fan.
Supply. Jake, we'll be back Thursday episode, week 1 of the 2022 season. We're fired up, man. I've got the show rundown ready to go. We're going to have an absolute blast. I think Jody Flanagan is going to jump on with us a little bit as well from Rec Tech. He is their PR expert at BBQ Dad Jody. He's going to jump on with us, give you guys some tips and tricks as to how to win your home gates, your tailgates throughout the football season, tell you a little bit more about their activations around the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic games this weekend. Big shout out to our presenting sponsors, of course, Rec Tech. Go follow them on social media at rectech_official. Check out their YouTube page. Check out their TikTok channel. They've got so much awesome content. It helped me out tremendously this past weekend when I fired up my RecTech. Be sure to enter the RecTech Punt and Pass giveaway. Go to puntandpass.com. You can find it right there on our homepage. Giving away an RT1250 smoker, a grill cover, 20-quart RecTech icer cooler, 80 pounds of pellets, and a rub and sauce bundle. It is the biggest giveaway that we've ever done on the podcast. So huge thank you to RecTech. RecTech.com. That's RecTeq.com. The absolute best. Jake, anything on the way out, my man?
Man, about to go put my RecTech together.
Come on.
Just got it.
Love it.
An hour ago. So decided to go put that thing together. Get ready for the weekend. Let's go.
All right, man. Sounds good. I will talk to you on Thursday. Be sure to follow us on social media at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. Jake is at From Jake. Puntandpass.com, the #1 destination for all things college football. And we will talk to you on Thursday. See you.
See you then.